So we found a Harley on pickles, a burnt out Harley. We managed to pick it up, bring it back, see what it looks like. We've decided to make a Harley powered drift trike out of this thing, which is pretty cool. So will it work? We're not sure.
This is the Tailbank Garage. A drift trike is something, it's a trike. A trike is something with 3 wheels and it can drift, is what that is.
A drift trike is traditionally a little tricycle. It used to be powered by pedals, that's where it originated. Big front wheel and really small rear wheels with normally a hard surface on it that's designed to lose traction so you can drift around the corner. So that's where the idea came from, and as things progress, people have put different motors on them and things like that. So from our point of view, we haven't seen one with a Harley engine on it. We've got this project I think will fit the bill absolutely perfectly. A little bit crazy, but pretty cool. And we'll do exactly the same thing. Big front Harley wheel on it and small go-kart style rear wheels on the back as far as our plans go, with a surface on it that we can actually drift. We think the Harley engine will have enough power to spin them if they don't have a PVC harder outer shell, but we'll see how we go. So the big thing with disassembly is just getting everything off it that's burnt, so we can have a good look at the engine, and then starting to strip the engine down piece by piece to understand firstly the condition it's in and what we're going to have to do to, to get it back in working order. Well, we're 2 hours into the disassembly, and yeah, I thought we would be done by now, and then as you'd expect with most projects I take on, we're nowhere near it. It's way more work than I thought. Meanwhile, we got Lex over here. What are you doing, mate?
Nothing.
Nothing? He's found the air compressor is way more fun than pulling apart a burnt out Harley. So we'll get back into it, see if we can get her stripped down and try and get some of the covers off and see if we can turn it over. If we can turn it over, I think we're okay. If we can't, we're in a little bit of trouble. Uh-oh.
You?
Yeah, lots of water.
What's that stuff there?
I don't think that that's supposed to have water in it, mate. And now it's milk. It's supposed to be oil. We don't like that, do we?
I like milk.
You like milk?
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me was, could we use the engine or is it completely destroyed? Obviously it's been subject to a lot of heat in the fire, so it could have distorted the casings, the thing could be seized, it could be a complete waste of money, and we're back to the drawing board as far as a project goes in the Hellbent garage. So I was pretty nervous about that. If it turns over manually, then we think that we can recover the engine and actually use it. You want to take it off, go, lift it up. Yep. Nice. Alrighty, I got him.
Oh, my hands are milky.
Alright, we're going to need some rags, matey. It's not looking too bad in there, is it? Alright, buddy, moment of truth. Let me help you get that shifter. This is a bit of an ugly way of doing it. Let's get it adjusted up. She's on the crank. Let's see if we turn it over. What? How good's that? It's not seized. Woo!
I don't see anything. It's a hole.
Mate, this is great news. This thing's going to go. I just got to worry about all the electronics. How cool. Wash our hands for dinner. Of course, when you have such a great, successful time in the Hellbent garage, it's always schnitzel.
Yeah! Woo! Let's go!
Now, what do you reckon's in the fuel tank? Fuel or water?
Water. There's no milk.
No milk today.
I'm just going to use that for my cappuccino.
We got the bucket to drain their fluid into, not just sit it on there. I'll keep getting this off.
I'm just throwing the bolts everywhere. You're never going to find them.
I like to pretend that I'm precise with my tools, but my favourite tool is probably still two favourites. It'd be a hammer and a shifter. Old mate who owned it prior to us has had a fair shunt, and I think that the fuel cap's just busted off it and gone under the exhaust.
I think he's hit something and then the fuel cap came off.
And then it's laid on its side, fuel's gone on the exhaust, caught fire.
Yeah.
Well, I just hope that he's okay and that we can give this beautiful piece of equipment a new life. This is way more complicated than I had assumed. Gee whiz.
What is that? Is that a dead rat?
That's a little baby pump, and it definitely got hot.
Cut it out with the angle grinder.
Man, we've picked a difficult bike to work on.
Oh.
So I think, right, we take a couple more things off, and then I think we get the angle grinder and start cutting the frame up.
I'm moving away.
Now I'm thinking this is a good idea. Chip doesn't like going fast and he's scared of a loud engine, so when we kick this thing in the guts, he's going to be gone. Well, Chip's just about to turn 10 and he's obviously a very close mate of mine.
Like, you get him a dog cake, like a little dog cake that big.
He doesn't like the shed too much when it's just me down here because all the loud banging or power tools, air compressor and all that sort of stuff tends to scare him away. He's pretty cool. He loves playing and he loves stealing rolls of masking tape and hiding them from us. Lex and Chip do tend to get along, but obviously, you know, Lex being a little mischievous boy tends to rough him up a little bit, so Chip's always a little bit uncertain about what he's going to get from Lex at any one time.
The only bad thing you do is I do soccer training and I run around the property a lot just to train for soccer. And when we play soccer game or footy, I bought the ball like a month ago and it already has like 10,000 teeth marks in it. You say no and he just runs off with the ball. And so you can't play.
This is good news. The engine's free as a bird. Sorta. Feels a bit sticky. Look at that. That's good. So from here, we take everything off and get it cleaned up, painted and put it back on. But this Harley's belt driven and the belt runs around here and obviously to our axle that we'll have with the go-kart style tyres on it. But the belt's gone. We're gonna have to try and source a new belt that's a lot shorter for our little contraption. But the problem is you can't get the belt on. You have to actually take off the clutch and the chain and all this stuff and this housing to replace the belt. So of course I have no idea how to do that, but that's what we're gonna have to do and get stuck into.
That's why I said it's gonna run once and then it's not gonna run again. It's not gonna work.
What are we gonna do, mate? What are we gonna do? The service manual for this bike is 642 pages long. At school I wasn't much chop at reading. I was always the last in the class to progress. In fact, I didn't even get my pen license until grade 6 and everyone had it in grade 3, and at the end of grade 6 they're like, just here, you're better off having it, and I had to write in pencil. Actually I still write in pencil because I don't believe I earned that pen license. Troubleshooting, that's my section. How to use this section, that's also my section. We sifted through all the instructions and hundreds of pages of instructions and found the exact right one, and we managed to remove that casing and get the belt off. But it's going to be quite tricky to actually find a belt that we can use because Harley have their own specific belt and profile of belt. So we need a really short one to power the drift trike. So it's going to be a big challenge to find it. So this is where a lot of my time is. I want to be over there working on the drift trike and getting it all together, but there's so much research that goes into projects like this on just trying to find parts. However, when you sandblast an engine, you tape everything up, which we did. You tape it up real good, which we didn't. And I think it's broken through the tape and there's been a little bit of what you call media or sand go into one of the compartments in the engine. This package is undeliverable and is in the process of being disposed of. That's awesome.